let's talk about mentorship. Why mentorship is important, and fuerte aplauso para Charlie.
Yeah, so first off, thank you, Techqueria, thank you, Twitter, for having me here. My mom doesn't know what Twitter is, but if she saw me standing in front of this crowd, she'd be crazy proud. So yeah, I appreciate this. So this is gonna be a little bit of my own personal narrative. I'm gonna talk about 3 mentors briefly that I've had. And at the end, I'm gonna say why, as we break into new spaces, I feel mentorship is important, especially as Latinos, Latinx folks. So my first mentor, Musi Solomon, from Eritrea, Africa, and I would consider him an intellectual. I met him when I was 21. I had just moved to the Bay from LA, born in Inglewood. So anyone from LA, Inglewood, yeah. And just to give you some context, what Musi had to work with. So I'm first gen, Salvi American. I used to wear really baggy clothes. Dropped, got kicked out of high school due to fights, dropped when I tried community college, dropped out, academic probation. I was convinced that school wasn't for me. So Musi had a lot to work with, met him in the community, and blessed to have met him because he, even though I didn't believe in myself, he was willing to mentor me. Throughout these mentoring sessions, Musi would always bring up school, and he's like, Charlie, why don't you try to go to school? And I'm like, I'm convinced that school's not for me. I gave that a try, stopped going, it's not for me. And he kept giving me books, insisting so far. And eventually I asked him, I'm like, Musi, when did you decide to go to school? And he's like, Charlie, for me, it was never a question of should I or should I not go to school. He's like, my parents went to school. My siblings went to school. I'm the youngest. So he graduated with a degree in economics, and he's like, it was never a question, it was just common sense. I just did it. He's like, the reason you're struggling with it, Charlie, is not that, you haven't really processed it. It's not that you're not a good fit, you just haven't been exposed to it. No one in your family has done it, no one in your community has done it. You're doing it, you're breaking into new spaces. And that's really a mental barrier that you had to break. So it was a really critical dialogue. And I reflected on that. He kept working with me. Eventually I snapped out, got into Berkeley, excelled. Yeah, go Bears, woo! But there's always new. So he set the foundation. Breaking through that wall after. I knew possibilities were endless, but there's still new walls, new spaces where there aren't Latinos, and we always begin to question ourselves as we break into this uncharted spaces. So the next space, I was thinking of looking for jobs. After Berkeley, I was studying in Brazil. I was online. I'm like I got to go back to the U.S., got to get a job. And I see a sales fellowship. So SVA, if anyone of y'all have heard of SVA, is, it's like for what coding is, coding boot camps for engineers, it's for sales. So a sales fellowship. And so, younger me would have said, sales, hell nah. It's not, I can't be, I had a bit, we all have, sales, I think. Cold calling people? No way. So, young me kept saying no. But Musi set the foundation, so I went for it. And even the fellowship was coming up. I had interviews, and I almost didn't show up, but I went for it. I got in. In it, I met another mentor, Ever Zelaya. So Ever, also Salvadorian, he gave me the DL on sales and tech, and really, demystified it for me. And I was like, I could do this. And his support really empowered me. And, so he's really what, his advice is really what allowed me to excel in the fellowship and get a job in tech. So now I'm a sales rep at Lacework, a cybersecurity startup, and I'm killing it. Yeah, I'm one of the top producing reps. But now that I'm here, there's new barriers. I'm the only Latino male at this startup. They hired 2 SVA fellows, me and a Latina. And, when I look at the higher management, senior reps, VPs, all I see is white folks. No other Latinos, no other Latinx folks. And so that's the next step, but I start questioning myself. Just like Berkeley, just before SVA, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if, but I'm like, I start reflecting too. I'm like, is it really that it's my qualities, or is it just because there's no folks in this space and I'm not exposed to it? So it's mentors, really. At that, when I start thinking about that, I start seeking people that are in those roles, Latinx folks in Techqueria, and even white allies that I found. So shout out to my current boss, Chris Ferrado. He's white, but he understands me, he feels me, and so have one-on-ones with him. Told him where I'm coming from, and he's does everything he can to support me. So, to close it off, I want to say, whether we're going for VP exec positions as we move forward, and you start doubting yourself, really wonder if it's because a lack of exposure to this space, or if it's really, you. And I doubt it's you. It's most of the time lack of exposure. So find mentors, people to support you, and, you'll be unstoppable. You can do anything. Yeah.